Hello, hello, hello. Hey, friends. I am Audrey, holistic wellness practitioner and certified crystal healer with Gemstone Well. I am super excited to be hanging out with y'all today. We're going to take just a few moments here because there's a little delay in Facebook, and when Facebook lets you guys know that I am here with you. So as you pop on, hey, Stacy's here. Hey, good to see you. So as you pop on, say hello like Stacy, and let me know where you're from if you'd like. Today we're going to talk about one of the most versatile stones. And sometimes I feel like I say this about like any stone you ask me about. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so versatile. But we're going to talk about rose quartz today. And here's a pretty good size hunk of rose quartz. It's probably 2 pounds. I don't know, somewhere in there. So we're going to talk about the crystal itself, but I want to share with you some cool ways to use it, probably some ways you haven't thought of. Most importantly, ways to weave it into your everyday life, because in my practice, and my crystal practice, as well as my functional nutrition and functional medicine practice, I noticed that people, if it's not simple, if it's not sustainable, if it doesn't fit in your life, it's really, really hard to stick to it. Yes. Okay, Stacy. So I'll have to tell you a little story about this. Stacy says it's a big hunk. So I have a 50-pound hunk that lives outside of my front door, and you'll find out why. And then there is another huge hunk that's almost 70 or 80 pounds at the same little crystal spot in North Texas. And I've had my eye on it for a long time. So I'm probably going back to get it because I can't have too much of it. Chris joined. Awesome. So Stacy and Chris, and hopefully we have a few others popping in. But today we're going to talk about rose quartz, the crystal itself, of course, again, but we're going to talk about some different ways to use it, how to weave it into your everyday life and make sure that it's something that you continue to use. We'll talk about some out-of-the-box ways to use it, how to use it for yourself and other people. And we're even going to touch on how to use it with animals, because it's a really, really good stone, a good gemstone to use with your critters, with your four-legged friends, as well as your two-legged friends, right? So I hope that sounds good. I hope we're excited to be talking about it. So if you're joining us live, joining us on the replay, either way, because I always come back and answer the questions and interact, make sure that you tell me that you're here. So say hello, and also let me know where you're from or what you're doing today. And so while we're chit-chatting and waiting to start, I'll do a little housekeeping. If you have questions, make sure you pop them in the comments box. I want this to be interactive. So I try to see them. I have the window open, so you'll see me glancing back and forth. And I love it to be interactive and conversational. So it's more fun if you talk to me in the chat box than if I just sit here and talk at you, right? I also want to tell you about the Crystal Club. It is such a fun opportunity, and you have the opportunity right now to become a founder. And I don't want you to miss it because time's almost up. You can get all the details at gemstonewell.com/membership. And I bet Chris will pop that in the comments box. If not, I will come back and pin that to the top when we're done. But it's gemstonewell.com/membership. Super fun thing we're put together here at Gemstone Well. The founder deal is amazing. And so what you're going to get is 2 exclusive live crystal classes, which I'll teach them each and every month inside a private and exclusive Facebook group. The replays will be there. And to tell you a little bit about my credentials, I'm a holistic wellness practitioner as well as a certified crystal healer. And so what that means is I work with people. Chris put that link in the comments box for us, so thank you. What that means is that I help people heal from the roots up and the inside out. And if you think of your health and wellness as a 3-legged stool, there's 3 legs, and your energetic wellness is one of them, right? So, and without that energetic wellness in place, your whole stool wobbles, okay? So even if the other 2 are doing really, really well. So with this crystal class, you get 2 exclusive classes with me each month, and I'll be hanging out in the group with you guys. In the exclusive members only Gemstone Well Crystal Club Facebook group, you're going to get a 20% discount on all the cool products that Gemstone Well has for us at gemstonewell.com. You also get early access to the coveted Black Friday sale. And this might be my favorite part. It's all really, really exciting, but my favorite part, I love to get stuff in the mail, right? So if y'all mail me something, I will be your friend for life. No, but for Gemstone Well, we are sending out an actual tangible gift to our founding members when they join. So that's super exciting. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I don't want to spoil the surprise, but I promise you'll love it. You'll also get other member offers, member perks, early access to new products. And there are 2 new products specifically in development that I can't wait to be able to share with y'all, because I've seen kind of behind the curtain and they're super exciting and so very cool. But here's the deal with the founder stuff. We want it to be super fun and intimate, and have lots of interaction. So we've done something really, really special. Membership is regularly almost double this, but if you join by midnight on June 4th, and I think there's like 5 days until June 4th, then you can get it for the founder's price. And we won't be offering this again, but it's $4.99 a month or $13.50 for 3 months, or I think I saw $47 for the year. That is an amazing deal, okay? And it'll be the last time, like I said, that we offer this founding price. And so I also want you to know what topics that are coming up, because this will be the last Crystal Club class that we do out publicly on the Gemstone Well page. After this, they're all going to be behind the Gemstone Well exclusive Crystal Club Facebook group. So how to, the first class, I'm sorry, I'm managing the messenger too, because that's how Gemstone Well talks to me. So how to choose crystals and gemstones for yourself. So we're going to talk about that next class, and we're going to talk about it both from a scientific perspective. So what's the evidence base tell us that, you know, this crystal is right for you for this situation and whatnot. We're also going to talk more about an intuitive and metaphysical way to tell as well. So some really cool tools to both have an evidence base for what crystals to use, as well as have feeling the energy type metaphysical base to that. We're also going to talk about crystal gridding. We're going to talk about what gemstones are good for what uses. We're going to talk about the effects of cutting and polishing. So, you know, going from a nice big raw chunk to also nice, but a cut and polished stone. We're going to talk about the best resources for learning about gemstones, whether you want to just use them on your person, whether you want to make a career out of it, or whether you want to make crystal and gem goods and all that sort of thing. And then where and how to use gemstones on your body. So I hope you guys will come hang out with me in the Crystal Club, at least give it a try. If you're just joining us, welcome. And if you're joining us on the replay, welcome as well. I'm Audrey. I'm a holistic wellness practitioner and certified crystal healer with Gemstone Well. Today we are hanging out and talking about rose quartz. So far, Stacy's hanging out with us. Tracy's here from Wisconsin. Welcome. Excuse me for a minute. I taught a class before this, so lots of talking today. Melissa says she's in. Awesome. That's so exciting. Tammy says hello. Allison's joining us from New York. Hi, Allison. Dana, I can't wait. Waiting for payday. I get it. Friday? Maybe Friday's payday. Friday seems like a good day for payday. Ava says, how much just joined in? The founding price is $4.99 a month, $13.50 for 3 months, or $47 for the full year of crystal classes. Super exciting and such a great deal. So I think we have chit-chatted. So let's talk rose quartz. So fun. It is one of my favorite all-time stones. So I'd love for you to put in the comment box if you love it. If you don't love it, that's okay too, no judgment. If you work with it, if you use it in your home or personally. And you know, when you think of rose quartz, it corresponds with all things heart chakra, right? So love and emotional healing, even abundance. And those are all pretty common correspondences. And one that is, well, really rose quartz is the stone of love, right? One that is less known for or less thought of for a use, and one of my favorite uses for it is release and reduction of stress, okay? So if you think about it, and if you think about love, when we feel out of love with others or out of love ourselves, then it can be akin to or like stress, right? It can feel like stress. So one thing that rose quartz is really, really good for, and one thing I like to use it for, is releasing stress, okay? And then I use that clinically and personally for stress. And it's really good for lots of, like I said, it's the love stone. So it's good for compassion, unconditional compassion for yourself and for others, for your life partner, your children, your family, your friends, Mama Earth, community. You get it, all the super important stuffs, right? But really when you think of rose quartz, a lot of times people will say, well, I'm already in love. I don't need any love, you know, all these kind of things. So think of it as a good stone to release and reduce stress. And so, as you likely know, mental, emotional, energetic stress has an actual physical effect on our bodies, on our human suits, all the way down to the cellular and genetic level. And epigenetics is a relatively new science. When I say new science, it's about 10 years old. So that's science in the last decade is relatively young, right? Medical science, epigenetic science shows us that stress actually changes our DNA in a way that is carried or imprinted in our DNA and is passed down from generation to generation, all the way down the line, right? That's crazy. Well, using tools to reduce your stress, like rose quartz, to release stress, using a tool like rose quartz can help change that impact that stress has on your body, on those cells. Let's see. Dana says she loves rose quartz. Me too. Tracy says she loves it, is one of the first stones given to her by someone she did not know, but thought I needed it, and that person was right. Don't you love how that works? I love how that works. Melissa loves rose quartz. Allison loves it. Super helpful for self-love. I agree. It's like self-esteem in a stone, right? It's also really good for the heart, for circulation, for getting, you know, from the heart to the tissues. It's a go-to for fertility and for skin issues. And, you know, all of those things, like I said, we're going to focus really on that stress reduction aspect of it today. And so rose quartz, like anything else, you know, like crystal therapy in general, is just an added layer of assistance, right? But it's a really fun one, and it's a pretty one, and it's a really sustainable one, because what's easier than using something like this that can go with you everywhere you go, or can be a tool in your toolbox to help reduce stress. So let's talk a little bit about rose quartz itself. Here's a different piece. This is a little clearer piece. It's a little cleaned a little bit better. Ava says it's her favorite crystal. Let's see, I'm trying to see the new comments. Yeah, that was Ava's comment. It's her favorite crystal. This one's kind of a prettier pink, and I hope you guys can see that. My hand is kind of pink too, huh? So rose quartz is a member of the quartz family, right? You might have guessed that by the name. It is a silicone dioxide, sometimes also called silica. That's another name for it. And interestingly, if I put on my Geek Out functional medicine hat, silica plays a key role in lots of things in the human body. In fact, you can't live without it. And so you can tell your friends or your partners that you had to buy this rock because you can't live without it. But no, honestly, silica helps nutrients move from your bloodstream into your bones and organs. So on a literal level, you can't live without silica. Now, this is silica, obviously, outside of the body, right? But it resonates with those same aspects of your body, that resonance that we talk about in physics. It resonates with those same aspects of your body that help your body do what it needs to do, help your body function optimally. Now, rose quartz, as you see, a lot of these pieces, I have lots of different pieces with me here. A lot of these pieces are just hunks of rose quartz, right? And then of course you have polished tumblies or tumbles. And then, you know, even further cut and polished. Sometimes you find them in shapes or eggs. Now, it actually grows like this. It grows in a cluster versus something like clear quartz, also in the quartz family. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it grows in points or clusters of points. My big cluster is too big to hold up. But quartz, even though the same family, they grow in nature a little bit differently. And rose quartz is actually found in Brazil and South Dakota here stateside is a good place to find rose quartz. And I've heard you can actually go and find it there. So I'm going to take a drink before we get on. Y'all don't forget to put your questions in. So if y'all joined me last time, you know that I didn't have a voice for the last class I taught was hoarse the whole time. So hopefully I can avoid that this time. Goodness. Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all send me some good vibes. All right. That'll make your eyes water. Okay, so let's talk about uses. Excuse me for that. Meditation. So as you know, the benefits of meditation are far-reaching. You can amp up the stress reduction and healing work of meditation by adding rose quartz. Megan wants to know, how am I drinking from a rose quartz elixir? No, I'm actually drinking from a throat chakra elixir, go figure. But I just refilled it, so. So we're going to talk about meditation, right? And the benefits of meditation are far-reaching, but you can amp up the stress reduction and healing work of meditation by using rose quartz. So if you sit upright for meditation, I recommend holding it in your left hand. And meditation is one of those things that, despite recognizing that it fully works scientifically and that it makes actual changes on the cellular level in your body, that each person is 100% unique. And so there's no one protocol for meditation that works for everyone. So one thing that is very, very simple is to hold rose quartz in your left hand, and you can use it any type of meditation. But a quick and easy way to just sort of snap out of it is to hold the rose quartz in your left hand, then take your right hand, and you guys can do this with me, right? You're going to touch your first finger to your thumb, your second finger to your thumb, your third finger to your thumb, and your pinky. And you're going to say, peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. It's a quick 1-minute meditation, and you can do it really, really fast. You only have to do that 10, 20 times. You can do it with your eyes closed or your eyes open. To be honest, I do it in traffic. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. Usually with my eyes open, right? I mean, it's a great way to just instantly reduce that stress using rose quartz to enhance it, okay? And so, again, people assume that in order for meditation to be successful, it has to be, you know, sitting in a pillow with tassels in a quiet room. That's not the case. You can just do that simple 1-minute meditation holding the rose quartz. And if you meditate regularly with rose quartz and you start to program yourself so that rose quartz is a symbol, is a talisman of stress reduction, then coming across rose quartz or carrying rose quartz in your pocket so that you can just touch it at any time really, really will reduce your stress, bring up all those feelings of love, open up the heart chakra, all of the things, increase your circulation, warm the body, all the things that you really needed to do just by using this little stone. Also, side note, this is really great for kids too, especially the Peace Begins With Me meditation. It's how I started my littles. My littles are 8 and 11 now. And so I started them on this 5-finger meditation. And if Peace Begins With Me isn't your favorite mantra, you can exchange that for another mantra. But I started them on this mantra when they were very, very young, 2 and 4, I think. And so they started that, and that's still their go-to. When they have their moment of silence at school, if I happen to be there for whatever assembly, I can see them, you know, still doing the Peace Begins With Me meditation. So it's very, very helpful. So number 2, we talked about last time in the class on gem elixirs, and you can still find that information here on the Facebook page. And Ava asked me if I was drinking rose quartz elixir. No, I'm drinking out of an elixir bottle, yes, but this is a throat chakra elixir with chrysocolla, blue aventurine, and lapis lazuli in there. Because if you saw the last video, I didn't have a voice for like 3 weeks, right? Because I had strained it. So I was doing all the things to soothe it and make it better. But one of my favorite ways to use crystals, and rose quartz specifically, is to apply the energies to water. There's lots of studies that show that water retains the energy of what's around it. So the easiest method by far is something like the elixir to go bottle. Sometimes you need a bigger batch, right? Like you want to make a whole bunch of gem elixir. And that's something that you might want to do with a stone like rose quartz. So with that, you can use either the direct or indirect method. So indirect would be putting the stones near, right? Near the water. or putting it inside of another glass container and putting it in. Or you can just drop the stone right into the glass container. Now, I explained last time, so if you weren't hanging out with us last time, even though rose quartz is safe to put in water, the way these are cleaned, the way they are tumbled and polished, often includes some sort of chemical application. And being a holistic wellness practitioner, I try to avoid chemicals as much as possible. So I personally prefer the indirect method. I recommend the indirect method more to my patients and clients. However, if the direct method is something that you like to do, then rose quartz is one that you can put directly into the water and then consume that water. The one way I like to use rose quartz for a direct method is in the bathtub. So rose quartz can be really, really soothing to the skin. And so you can take a rose quartz bath and you can amp that up by adding some rose petals and different things. It's also really great for kids, assuming they're old enough not to put the rose quartz in their mouth. My daughter struggles with psoriasis, which is an autoimmune condition that we treat naturally. One of the ways that we treat her psoriasis and eczema is in a soaking tub with some herbs, some minerals, including rose quartz, and some rose petals. So that's something to try as well. You can also create a really great moisturizer if you have small tumbles, maybe even smaller than this, by using grape seed oil, excuse me, not grapefruit oil, but grape seed oil. You drop a little rose quartz into the oil container, add a few essential oils, and rose quartz has a really calming and soothing effect on the skin. So it's a great moisturizer. Okay, so one of my very favorite ways to use rose quartz, as I've been saying, is as a stress reducer. And I hope you guys are really gonna love this method because rose quartz is such a great stress reducer. It's really great to use it as a meditation. It's great to use it as an elixir, even as a skin tonic. But there's a few things that I really like to do with rose quartz because they're the kind of things that you can set it and forget it. And I don't know if any of y'all are like when my babies were little, my kids, my littles were little, I would set up and feed them at night, right? And I would watch the most ridiculous infomercials. And I don't know if y'all ever saw the Ron Popeil set it and forget it. I think it was a rotisserie chicken thing. But this is a way that you can use rose quartz to set it and forget it. Okay, first strategy is to place rose quartz in each room. It can be hidden or not, so if it doesn't go with your motif, no big deal. And this one, it's one of those situations where if you're in a big room, the bigger the better, right? Because you want that vibration to carry. It's really great on nightstands or under the bed, and it can just calm the energy in the entire room. Another thing I like to do with them is to put them around the entrances of the home or office. So you can even tape them in the door frame, so they're not like around the door frame, so they're not super obvious that they're there. But as people walk through them, as they pass through them, it sort of just changes their energy right when they cross the threshold of your home or work or office, right? So that's a really great trick for them. I have them by my front door, like I said, by the garage door, and by the patio door. I've even had, like I said, I have clients that tuck them, the little ones, right? So you get little ones and tuck them around the frame of the door. You can use that double-sided 3M sticky tape. But my very, very favorite thing to do with them is to put them at the stopping point for people that live in my home, right? So we have a place, it's like a backpack nook, so that when everyone comes in the door, whether it's me, my kids, my husband, everyone puts their junk there. You know, like they throw their keys, they leave their laptop bags, purses, backpacks, all those things. So you put a chunk of rose quartz there. It doesn't have to be big. This is the chunk of rose quartz that used to live in our backpack nook, right? And it's the same principle. Think of it like an energetic drive-through car wash. And it just sort of flips the switch from whatever was going on at work or at school or whatever kind of rush hour traffic you were in. It instantly flips the switch, reduces the stress, and it positively charges that person, for lack of a better way to say it, when they come home from a hectic day, right? It switches them from stress ball mode to love, unconditional compassion, and de-stress mode. Now, interestingly, you may notice when you use a stone for that in that way, that you might have to retire it often, okay? So if you look at this one's retired, and I don't know if you can see that, but can you see the dark lines? When I got it, it was plain rose quartz, okay? There were no dark lines. And so I feel like that they get cracked, they start to change colors when they've kind of lost their ability to continue to be that energetic car wash. They've absorbed some kind of big negative energetic action. Okay, so when you do retire your gemstones, everyone has a little bit different method of doing that. I like to return them to Mother Earth, right? Or sometimes I keep them for demonstration and retire them like this one. But some people bury them. Sometimes, we'll take them to the ocean or the lake, that sort of thing. And then lastly, I want to talk about pets. So let me know if you have pets. I have 9 pets. We have a horse, 5 chickens, 2 dogs, and a cat. And I use rose quartz on all of them. I also go out for what you might call barn calls and work with energy work on animals. Animals sometimes are my favorite patients because they don't talk. They just absorb, right? They don't argue. But one really, really good way, well, there's a few good ways to use crystals with animals. One, a precaution. You don't want to put them in their water bowl, right? Because if you leave it loose in their water bowl, if their mouth is big enough, they're going to put it in their mouth, right? So make sure wherever you put it, in their water bowl, in their bed, on their collar, that it's not in a place where they can get it in their mouth and swallow it. It will cause digestive troubles, possibly even surgery, okay? So second part is when you use elixirs for pets, know that they don't need as much as humans. They're still so much closer to Mother Earth that a little bit of elixir goes a long, long ways for pets. Rose quartz is a really gentle stone, so I wouldn't worry too much about, giving them too strong of a dose, but use caution. Like I said, they have a deep connection to Mama Earth, much, much deeper connection because they're still on the earth more often than humans. And so a little bit goes a long way. So one of my first favorite ways is to, again, it's the same principle as the humans, right? So you put it around the door so that it acts as an energetic car wash. And if you think about, we have dogs, so they like to bark and carry on and go on and on and on when the neighbor comes out, right? So when I go yell at them, get back inside, they come running through and just come through that rose quartz car wash, that aura car wash, and then they're just relaxed when they get back inside instead of continuing to bark and carry on and go around, right? The second way is an elixir. So you can put rose quartz in their water or add, like I prefer to add a little bit of rose quartz. So if I were going to give my cat throat chakra, which she doesn't need it, throat chakra, she's very vocal, elixir, then I might just pour a tiny bit of this into her water bowl with her other water. You can also use rose quartz in their bed. So in between my 2 dogs' beds, because they got tied up one time, like they fought one time and both of them had to go to the doggy hospital and wear the cones of shame. But so we have a rose quartz in between their 2 beds, right? And so it makes a figure 8 with the rose quartz in the middle, and because they have oval beds. And so that's one way that we sort of bring their heart connection closer. And then another way, if you're actively working on an animal, is to take a rose quartz and the chest on a 4-legged animal. So their arms are out, so their chest below their neck, and draw a figure 8. And that connects their heart meridian to a grounding meridian. And the meridians are a little bit different depending on the species of the animal, but really it's on the chest, whether it's a bird or a mammal. I've never done crystal work on a fish. Rose quartz, though, would be one considered that you could put in an aquarium. Just make sure that you have a nice clean piece. So, but figure 8 is one of my favorites. You can also comb the aura. So you just hold the rose quartz a little bit above the animal's body and comb the aura. And again, animals don't need a lot. So where you might use a crystal all day on a person or an hour on a person or even a 30-minute meditation, animals don't need a lot and they will tell you when they're done. So when they start to pull away, even horses, when they're tied really tight, they'll kind of start to throw their head around, maybe move their feet, and they'll let you know when they're done. So I encourage you to try that out. So we have a lot of comments to go through. I love it. You guys are talking to me. Thank you, Melissa, for sending out good vibes for my throat chakra. It worked. Y'all did it. Between that and my elixir here, it happened. This is my first big talk, right? My first big lengthy talk since I've gotten my voice back. So I was a little bit nervous. So thank y'all for bearing with me. Dana Hawkins is inviting Susan to catch the replay. Susan, hi, when you come see the replay. Love the 5-finger meditation. Very stressed right now. JJ, I'm sorry you're stressed. Meditation is hard with ADD, but if you can do a moving meditation, a coloring meditation, having something like rose quartz to help bring that energy down will help. And then, like you said, keeping the meditations very, very short. Eventually you can work your way up, but keeping them very, very short will help. Very informative. Thank you, Louisa. I might be saying that wrong. Laura says you're constantly breaking rose quartz. You might need a bigger piece. That's another key. So this is a small piece. And if you have 4 people coming in stressed, you can see how that might be a challenge for a little piece of rose quartz. But you can just keep replacing them or get a bigger piece. So that's really, really good. Let's see. Debbie says hello. Hi, Debbie. Ava says I placed them on my son's windowsill. That's a beautiful place for them. We have them under all the beds, and then my girls are big enough to have them on their nightstand as well. Melissa says she loves rose quartz in all the bedrooms, living room, and back patio out of the sunlight so it doesn't fade. Interesting, Melissa. So I've seen a lot of studies that say that rose quartz will fade, and maybe this one was super dark pink, but this one I bought from a vendor that had them all outside in the Texas sun. So they were all outside for years and years and years. Direct sunlight, no shade. And it doesn't seem, even the edges, it's not losing its color. So we're actually doing an experiment in my car. I have a Jeep that the top comes off, and I have 2 pieces of amethyst in there, really dark purple amethyst, sitting in the windshield to see if Texas heat's hot enough to turn it into citrine, and 2, if the sun will fade them. Because based on some recent purchases that I've made, I feel like maybe it won't. So interesting, right? Tracy says she has 2 cats, a dog, and 13 chickens. Awesome. We love our chickens. I had no idea that chickens had such a personality. And they have rose quartz in their chicken coop. Down below, we have like a 2-story chicken coop. It's down below where they can't mess with it too much, but it's a big piece. Before I get through the rest of the questions, I just want to make sure that those of you guys that popped on know that we're starting the Crystal Club with Gemstone Well, and this will be our last public crystal class. So keep that in mind. We have the founder's price. It's just $4.99 a month, or I think the 3 months was $13.50 or $47 for the year. You get 2 classes with me every single month. Throat chakra. Early access to the Black Friday sale. 20% discount on all Gemstone Well products. Lots and lots of perks. So I hope you guys will join us for that. Let's look at more questions. I'll take a drink before I get choked up again. Dana says she has 2 cats and a yellow lab. I love labs. Stacy has 7 pets. So you guys are going to have to try these rose quartz techniques with your animals and let me know what you think, especially if you have hyper ones. Ava has 2 cats. We have another. Allison also has a yellow lab and a calico cat. Awesome. Stacy has a dog with a chronic cough issue. Oh, I'm sorry. Doctors can't find out what's causing it. Oh, that's tough. I'm sorry. Maybe some throat chakra elixirs can help soothe that. I hope. Maybe it's allergies. I feel like it's well, I'm not going to diagnose your dog, but I hope she or he feels better. Irene says 1 dog and hoping to add another one. JJ, I have an elderly white pit baby. Her name is Pandora. That's a beautiful name. I love that everyone is animal lovers. I'm a big animal lover too. And like I said, I had no idea how much personality, like chickens, they are smart and they know things and they come when I call them and they like cuddles. It's very, very fascinating. Tori says, I do energy cranial cycle work on my horses too. Also red light therapy. Me too. Me too. It changes the way they behave. It changes the way they interact with their riders. It's amazing. Can I go over making an oil? Ava asks. Yes. So I don't have a bottle for an oil, but you want a glass container. And then you can add grapeseed oil, or if your grapeseed oil comes in a glass container, then you can use that already. Then you can add whatever oils you want to achieve. So if you are wanting to lighten and even your skin tone, you might choose some citrus stuff, but careful, that'll make you sun sensitive. If you want to do anti-aging, you might use some frankincense, some copaiba to make it all a little bit better. And then you can just take a rose quartz and drop it in there. Now they make even rose quartz tiny chips and even tinier tumbles than this. And this is, I don't know, maybe an inch and a half. So they make smaller ones though. And then you can just add it to the bottle. And then you keep the bottle and you just keep adding your ingredients back to it to fill it back up. It's really, really simple. Diane keeps rose quartz in her pocket. That's amazing. Yay, Tracy's joining us for the year. Thank you. Ava's gonna join us. Can't wait to see you. 4 horses, Tori, I'm jealous. Stacy, Stacy asked, you said allergy issues. And I have too intuitively felt it's allergy issues. That's what we're going to bring up in our next visit. Good. Check that out. Sometimes it's food allergies too that present themselves like that. Do I program crystals before making an elixir? So that's kind of a touchy question. I feel that science tells us, evidence tells us that the crystals don't require programming. That being said, I do set an intention, right? So say rose quartz is for love, and then I might set, it's already, that's the way Mama Earth made it, right? So rose quartz is for love. But what I might do is say my intention for this stone is to enhance my self-love or enhance the compassion in my house, if that makes sense. Rose quartz, Melissa says, good to know rose quartz won't fade. I'm not promising it won't, but my pieces haven't. So I'll let y'all know at the end of the summer how that experiment goes. But Melissa, let me know if that answers your question on programming or not programming a crystal. Like I said, I feel like inherently they come with their program. And then you can set your intention based on what you want to do with that. So lots of hearts. Thank you guys. So just to go over one more time, I want to make sure, I know you guys, a bunch of y'all jumped into the Crystal Club while we were talking. That's amazing. I can't wait. I'll be hanging out. I'm actually already in the group, hanging out, waiting on y'all to come ask me lots of questions. And even, outside of the videos, I'll be in there for your, to help, right? To hang out and help. So one question we got a lot about the Crystal Club is if you can't be there for the live classes, then what do you do, right? How do you get it? The recordings will be there in the Facebook group forever and always. So as long as you're a member, you will have access to those. And then along with those videos, which will be so much fun. And if you guys have topics for videos that you want us to talk about, then definitely, send me your deepest crystal questions and we'll talk about those. You also get 20% off the Gemstone Well products at gemstonewell.com. You get early access to that coveted Black Friday sale. You get a gift from Gemstone Well mailed to you in your mailbox. So a surprise, so much fun. And then as many other perks and things that we can pack in there because we want to make it really, really valuable and fun for you. And fun for me too. It's fun for me to do this. Okay, let's see. I see new comments. Sometimes it's hard. Let's see. Good to know rose quartz won't fade. And so Melissa asked, so the intention isn't for the stone, it's for your energy or vibration, right? So it's for the stone to act in your highest good, to act for that energy or vibration. Dana says, waiting patiently for tomorrow. I can't wait. Yay, I'm glad, Dana. So exciting. So awesome. So if you guys have any more questions, I'll hang out here for a few more minutes. I'll scroll back and make sure we talked about everything. We talked about uses for rose quartz. We talked about how versatile it is, so much fun. We talked about how to use it in everyday life. I hope I gave you some new ways to use it, either with the 5-finger meditation to get through meditation really, really quickly, or using it as your energetic car wash, right? As you come in the door, or, like I said about the one you put in like the area where everyone comes in, it's sort of your charging station, right? Eva wants to know, how do you sign up? There's a pinned comment, gemstonewell.com/membership. It has that link in there, and you just head over to that page. It'll give you all the details, so you don't have to remember all the things that I said. And then in the middle, there's a little place to sign up, and then you get all the access. So I hope you will come hang out with us. I think like $4.99, right? I don't drink Starbucks coffee, but that's like the price of a coffee, right? Or maybe 2 coffees, I don't know. And for once a month, I feel like it's a win. So I hope everyone has a good rest of your Thursday. Again, if you guys have more questions, if you're catching this on the replay, definitely leave comments. Don't think that, you know, your questions will be ignored just because I can't talk to you live. And, you know, leave the questions and I'll come back in and answer them. One more question from Melissa. She says, you talked about retiring the stone. What's your opinion on clearing or cleansing them? You absolutely can clear or cleanse them. And so there's kind of two schools of thought here. There's the school of thought that because of the science school of thought, right? Because of their perfect molecular structure, so down at an atomic level, the structure of a crystal doesn't change. No matter what energy you put at it, save a few, we'll talk about that some, save physical, cutting, polishing, heating, that sort of thing. Allison says, thank you. Thank you, Allison. So that's one school of thought. So in that school of thought, the crystal never needs to be cleansed or charged. Now, there are some studies, some evidence out there that shows despite it not changing molecularly, the vibration can change depending on what energy it's come in contact with. The way to fix that is with sound frequency. So any loud sound, it can be something pretty like a singing bowl or music from the radio. It can be singing. I'd hate to, you know, scream that loud in your ear. It could be banging of a pan. So something not so pleasant to the ear, but that vibration knocks it back into its correct vibrational state. And the second school of thought is a little bit more on the metaphysical side, where, you know, stones should be cleansed and cleared energetically between uses. And there's certainly no harm in doing that. There are lots of different methods and rituals. Some people put them out in the moonlight. Some people put them in salt water, although you do have to be careful with some crystals. They'll degrade in salt water. Some people send Reiki or healing energy to them, or some people set an intention or, you know, charge a stone under the sunlight even. So there's a few different schools of thought on that. And none of them are right or wrong. It just depends on what you're more inclined to, right? Let's see. Diane just joined for the year. Yay! I'm so excited. Allison says, thank you. I think I already thanked you back, but thank you, Allison. Melissa said gemstonewell.com membership. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for replying to Ava. Ava says, thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. Thank you for hanging out with me. Ava would like a workshop on sound. You got it. I love talking about sound. Norma sends a big old heart right back at you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for hanging out and for sticking with me through the coughing fit. That's getting better and better every day. And just a little information, I injured it originally while my daughter was on the horse I was talking about. She got a little out of control. So yeah, it just happens. And then it took a long time for that swelling to go down despite my best efforts. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Melissa says, see you in the group. See you there. And yeah, any questions, pop them in below. Be well.